bum 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 bum. Do, 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 do. He was going to make himself a railroad
Yeah.
station. Ah,
There we go.
Mrs. What was his name? The Irishman who gets shot by the great Henry. What was it?
McCabe?
No. Um. Oh God, it was very Irish. Like that's the point. So over the top Irish. He was going to build himself a train station. That's where the water
McBain.
was. McBain. I thought you said something else. I'm Mrs. McBain.
Oh, we're live.
I told you. I only told you. I wanted you to scare them. People scare better when they're dead, when they're dying. People scare better when they're dying.
You said it like Bruce McCulloch in Kids in the Hall. Ow, my bones.
I'm Henry Ford. I was in this movie, and my name is Nobody. Hello. My wife, my daughter's a cut. I hate my daughter. She's a cut. Fake titty cut. Traitor to our nation. The Duke knew. The Duke tried to stop her. The Duke tried to shoot her at the 1969 Oscars.
Oh, let's do an intro.
Cut. Hey.
All right. Oh, citizens, welcome to Hollywood is Dead 127, Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. Phoenix West.
You know it's not dead. Jane Fonda's fake titties. You could fucking throw a silver dollar off of those things.
You know who else is dead?
Right off, no problem.
Everyone else in her family.
Everyone in this movie.
Except Bridget. She just looks like death.
She just looks like poor thing. But yeah, Once Upon a Time in the West. Probably, honestly, this is
I don't think you need to say probably.
Movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said before, like when you talk about top 10 lists, I like to share them with other movies because I feel like movies, each movie's different in their own way. So it's like to say one's better than the other is not right because they're equally good. Yeah. And I would say like, this is like on par with movies like Shawshank Redemption. I mean, this is a 10. This is a 10 movie. This is a movie that is a masterpiece. Yeah, in every way, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. It's
how is the transfer?
Really good
on the Blu-ray. Is it good?
Crisp. I watched the restored version, which is 5 seconds longer than the original. But yeah, it looks great. Sounds fantastic. They finally mixed all the sounds right. Do you remember some of the sound effects in the DVD versions were just like when the train whistle blows, you're like, oh God.
Right. Yeah, it was a little off-putting, yeah.
Yeah, so they finally fixed that.
Better than the new one?
Yeah, it's a lot better for this. This is definitely the best version I've watched.
And does it have all the same special features, or is there any new special features on that?
That commentary with Carpenter Millis and Alex Cox.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
Same
Opera of Violence. I've already seen these, but back on that. Remember that like wide DVD?
Yeah. Well, no. That DVD. When that disc came out is when we were in film school. That's why I bought it because it was just coming out. That was when it just came out. So I spent like $30 on it at Amoeba when it was new.
Yep.
Where now you get for like $5.
You bought it, and I was like, "What are you getting?" And then we went back to your place, and I was like, "Fuck, let's watch that thing," because I love Good Men, the Ugly. Like I grew up watching that movie, and I was like, "Okay, I know who Sergio is, so fuck it, let's see how, I can't imagine I'm gonna like it better than that." And then you put it on, and Perry's talking through it. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like this, I realized like in that moment, like this is a special movie for me. Like I'm like, God damn, this is amazing.
I was glad to introduce it to everybody because a lot of people hadn't seen it, and I saw it years before.
It's
I saw it when I was 18. This was the first time I ever saw a Western and was like, holy shit, this is an art form. This
yeah.
is amazing. Because I didn't see the Dollars trilogy till after this one. So Leone wasn't really on my radar
really?
for a long time. Like, I knew him, I knew of him, and I was like, yeah, I want to watch those movies, but I just couldn't get into Westerns growing up. Like, it just did not interest me at all. And then I think I saw Unforgiven, liked that a lot, and I was like, you know what, I need to give Westerns a chance.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I watched this one, and I was just blown away by it with 18 and seeing this movie and just being like, wow, what is this? This is amazing.
See, that's interesting. I didn't know that you weren't in the westerns at all, because that lets you know that the movie's so
Yeah.
good it covers both sides. Because I grew up on westerns. Like my dad would
Right,
watch,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
he wouldn't watch them with me. They were just on, and I would sit there and I remember just being like 6, 7, and Good, Mad, the Ugly's on. I'm like, that's why I have these up here.
Yeah.
Watching that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is awesome. And then I watch a John Wayne one. I'm like, oh, these are terrible. So there really is kind of both
Right.
sides. I like the gritty
Right,
Western,
yeah.
and it lets you know
I don't
that
mind The Searchers.
some of them are good. I'm not like True Grit.
The
good.
Searchers isn't a bad, yeah, True Grit, and there's a few John Wayne movies that are actually pretty good, but
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest John Wayne guy.
but
I still
most
need
of
to
them
watch
are
Rio
boring.
Bravo.
There's
Yeah.
10,000 westerns from the 40s through the 80s that are so fucking bland, like Silverado and just all Rio Bravo. Those ones, just I don't like Rio Bravo as much as everyone else does, but How the West Was
You didn't like
Won is
Silverado?
interesting. I to me, it's bland. I want some. I like the grit involved with it. I want a punch to it. I want something behind it other than I don't like it when they play the Western is way too clean. I just
Right.
or it's like this.
Well,
Everyone
I
gets their own
yeah,
shot in the
yeah.
camera, and they're all like, and like that's Silverado to me.
Well,
Like cut to
I have more of a I have more of a soft spot for Silverado because like the reverse. This was a movie I watched with my dad, and he liked Silverado. That would be like his go-to Western was Silverado in the 80s. I think he saw it in the theaters and he liked it. And Lawrence Kasdan did it. And I like Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah.
So my dad likes Dreamcatcher. Like he's a Lawrence Kasdan fanboy,
Wow.
and he doesn't even know it.
Superboy.
He doesn't even know it. He probably doesn't even know who Lawrence Kasdan really is. Like he has no clue. But
Does
he
he like
loves his
Jake?
movies for some reason. I'm just like, I don't think he saw that one. We didn't watch
Jake
that
Kasdan
one.
movies?
Is that the one about the dog? Oh,
No,
Jake, his fucking loser son. Like Orange County or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it Orange County that he did? Jake Kasdan? Yeah. But no, it's, this movie, though, I mean, this is a movie that every film school student should watch. It's anybody that likes film. Like you have to watch Leone movies because that's it. Like he is cinema to me. He is the greatest director of movies ever. And he's done like maybe 8 or 9 movies that like stand the test of time. He produced a lot of stuff. He directed a lot of B picture stuff, but he did 5 movies. Well,
I do have my list.
6 or 7 movies that are amazing. Yeah.
I did extra credit this week. I
Okay.
watched every Sergio Leone movie I've never seen, which wasn't many because the man only did a few movies.
Yes.
He directed 7 movies. He wrote a couple, and I watched some of those. I watched My Name Is Nobody.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was fun.
I think he goes straight to that one.
wacky.
He did. Yeah.
Think he what?
Well, he ghost directed My Name Is Nobody.
He did that with a couple
shot by
movies.
Leone.
He did the other one that
he
was
kind
like
of showed up and
the Sodom and Gomorrah
Colossus.
movie.
Right,
I
Colossus
watched
of Rhodes or something.
I watched Colossus of Rhodes last night. That was actually just straight up him. I watched the whole fucking movie, and
how's that one?
You see every man in that movie's asshole. It's just close-ups of assholes the entire movie because they're wearing like little thongs and sliding down stuff and fighting. And I'm like,
problem? I don't understand.
So in order,
This
he
is a
didn't
movie
direct
that's-
Sodom and Gomorrah all the way. He just did some of it. So he's not officially
Right.
listed as the director. I watched Duck You Sucker for the first time. And those are the 2 I've never seen before. But I do have my
I like
rankings.
that stuff. Yes.
Yeah, I even like Colossus of Rhodes, and I don't like this kind of movies at all. But
Right.
it
Right.
was
Well, he has a
very well
style. His
done.
style is very specific. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was his first movie, but you can tell what he's going to become. He has the
Yeah.
established shots there, but the problem is he kind of cuts the other stuff that he doesn't do later in movies, like just weird angles and like, okay,
That's probably the studio cuts or probably the
yeah.
studio edits. Probably what
And
that
it
was.
doesn't help that the main actor of that movie is so fucking smarmy, Rory Calhoun. I don't
Well,
like
he's
him.
Italian.
He's. I'm like, oh god, fuck
Mm.
this guy.
I don't like your guinea charm, your slick back hair, and your warped sensibility.
But I'll go. This won't
He's
be an
probably
official
Irish.
episode because we're not going to do an episode about this guy's movies. Most of them are very similar. But I'll say bottom,
Right? Yeah.
Colossus of Rhodes, and then Fistful of
Okay.
Dynamite. A few dollars
Yeah.
more, or
Oh,
Fistful of Dollars.
Okay.
Then a few dollars
Okay.
more. Then Once Upon a Time in America. Then Good Men the Ugly, and at the very top, our movie of today.
Right.
Very quick list of the movies. I'm starting to keep lists on my phone, and I'm going through directors since we started doing that. And I'm going to start
Right.
watching the movies
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah,
seen.
Did you watch the like the 5-hour cut of Once Upon a Time in America,
No.
where it's like really long? The four.
No.
Which one did you watch? The 4-hour cut, the 5-hour cut, and the 2.5-hour cut.
I watched
It's like 3
the
different cuts.
regular cut that you can get here in the States. How long is that one? Like 3 hours.
Yeah, I think roughly it's about 4.5 hours or something like that. The extended, the official European version, I think, is like 4.5 hours. Which
Yeah,
is
okay.
basically, I think it's the same thing that you saw.
3 hours, 49 minutes. That's the cut I've seen.
Yeah, I think that might be the official cut. It's the only movie in history that made the top 10 worst list and top 10 best list in the same year, because they released the American cut and the European cut. And number one worst movie of the year was the American version. Number one best movie of the year was the European cut of that movie. So fucking that tells you everything you need to know about film. How cuts and edits make a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie.
I mean, just amazing. Yeah. But we're talking about the great Charlie Bronson. The cast, though, in this movie is amazing. The cast, we get Charlie Bronson. You got
Henry Ford.
Fonda, Henry Ford, the great creator of the car that we drive today. Hated Jews, loved cars. Henry Fonda, Claudia Cardinale, who, if you're a man, if you're a kid watching this movie and you don't have a boner, you're a fag.
She was wearing the black mascara like early for actresses, and I was like, oh, it's highlights her eyes in this movie, and I'm like, oh, it's crazy.
I mean, she's
now Alexandra Daddario does that same thing, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, very similar. And then I just like the fact that you watch the special features on the Jason Robards was fantastic in this movie. Really, I mean, oh god, even the Italian actor, the Choo Choo Man, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's great. He's basically the main villain, but he's like, this is a movie that like changes the whole sort of rules of how to make movies.
Yeah,
because you have a setup where the main villain of the movie, is taken out by the main hero of the movie off screen. Because that's not the story. The story is harmonica. The story is Charlie Bronson's story.
Yes.
Cheyenne's story is plot point C. Like that doesn't matter, even though the train is the center of the whole movie.
I was just gonna say it doesn't matter, but the entire plot of the movie revolves around Cheyenne's storyline. Because Henry Fonda works for Morton. Morton's the train guy. He's got crutches.
Yeah.
And
Mr.
all of the stuff in Cheyenne, he gets shot by Morton, but you don't realize it to the end. So everything involves Cheyenne and Morton, but they're barely on screen. And it's just harmonica, and really, it's Jill McBain. Her character has so much. She's like the main character of the movie,
right?
Because she interacts with all three of these men one at a time. They just all come in, and she talks to them. She fucks Henry Fonda for some reason. She interacts
Well,
with all three. Of
we'll get to that. We'll explain why this is a real movie, because it's like this is reality, and this is why, like, in all honesty, this is what women would have to do in this situation, and that was the way it was, and what the fuck are you gonna do about it? You can't do anything about it. It's how you survive as a woman in this period. You use your body, and it's just like she had the body to use, and she goes, all I need is the hot water, clean it off, and I can go the next day and be fine.
Forget about you,
but I'll forget about it. It's fine, whatever. Even though Henry Fonda had a dick that wouldn't quit. So I heard.
It's got a great blend of characters, because you got Harmonica, who the whole point of his character is you don't know what he wants or what he's after or what his motivations are at any time. Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy?
Yeah, but you have that slow building, just a wonderful cut back and forth but also the flashback to Henry Fonda coming up in the out of focus image of someone approaching a young version of Harmonica. Yeah, fantastic. And it comes into the movie like 3 times, and of course, like everything in threes, you set it up, and at the end, you finally get to see the payoff of what that scene's about. It's wonderful, but and then just in the soundtrack, Morricone, of course, delivers an amazing soundtrack. Even though, like, a lot of his soundtracks are very similar, they all kind of have the same beat and the same like music cues and stuff, which is fine. It works because like he reuses the same like harmonica music in about 5 other movies, like the exact same music cues.
Was the Hateful Eight
My Name Is Nobody?
Was that left over from this movie?
No, well, I think it was Morricone, but I don't know if it was an original Morricone.
No,
I feel like it was supposed to be original Morricone. Was it? I can't remember.
It was leftover songs from some other movie. I thought it was this one. But when you watch this movie, I immediately, when I watched this thing, I see where Tarantino got a lot of his visual style from.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, yeah. He rips off the best, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's as he should. But
I mean, there's even songs and sounds. The scene in Kill Bill where what's her name? Lucy Liu, and she's walking around, she's about to kill her. When it's that water thing, that's the beginning of this movie. The opening scene here. That's that one sound in the distance that won't stop and doesn't let up. Yeah. That's kind of how they're keeping time, and when it stops, they do the.
They have the windmill blowing in the wind. They're waiting for the train. You get the 3 bounty hunters. So cool. And I guess the original version, the original script, had the good, the bad, and the ugly cast as those 3 characters. It was going to be Clint Eastwood, Eli Wallach, and Lee Van Cleef, and Charles Bronson was going to blow them all away. And that was going to be the original idea of the opening of this movie, because it was Leone basically saying, "This ain't Good, Bad, and the Ugly. This ain't the Dollars trilogy." But they never did it because I think it was just, cost prohibitive or whatever. Because I don't think this was shot in. I don't know if this was shot in. Some of it was shot in America. Most of it was shot in Spain and Italy.
A lot of
that
the scenery was Utah and
Monument Valley. Yeah, because they imported the red dust from Nevada and Monument Valley, and they threw it because when the Cheyenne men come into that interior of the bar or the little way station, the way station exterior, the exterior was in America, the interior was Chinachita. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Chinachita, and they threw in the dust. They were throwing bags of dirt on the guys as they walked in through with the wind blowing. So they're throwing just fucking dirt into the scene so you could see it on camera. And you just imagine the amount of detail and foresight to be like, "Oh, we got a pack of bags of dirt. We need to bring in the bags of dirt to Italy now. And Leone wants a bag of dirt. I don't know why. It's stupid. We got paprika. Looks the same thing." No.
I feel bad for audiences that watch these movies and can tell that the voices aren't matching the mouths of the actors.
Right.
You can't get past it. I feel bad if you can't do that.
No, if you don't understand that, that's just how they did movies in Italy. They would record it post. Everything was post sound.
No sound.
They didn't have any sound. They didn't have any sound when they were doing the show, and And a lot of the times the music was made before the movie, so the music was played over the shots because they were timing it with the camera moves, which is fascinating that they would have the foresight to do that. So you're basically going off of the music first before the performance. But again, it's a movie, it's cinema. It should be like that.
I was gonna say,
cinema
music movie is not that different from music. It flows. It should have a flow and a timing and a rhythm, just like music does. So that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But
I know people always kind of bitch and complain. People bitch and complain about music in movies, how it tries to get the emotion out of you. Because if the actor can't do it, the music's supposed to. But this is different. Music in a movie should work on its own, and it just adds a layer to the movie. That's when you know you're in a good movie because the acting is superb, and yet the music and the way it works with what's going on is it's sublime. And this is one of those movies where it works. A few movies are like that, like John Williams scores are like that, and a little bit of James Horner. Some of the Hans Zimmer scores are like that. Like I would say Inception is one of the best scored movies.
People criticize Christopher Nolan for doing that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, but it works in the sense that it's a cinema. It's a visual. It aids the visual, not the emotion, because everybody thinks Nolan's a non-emotional director anyway. All his movies aren't very emotional. Even though you watch Interstellar and fucking McConaughey's crying his eyes out, it's totally an emotional movie.
Inception is also emotional, if you ask me.
Inception is pretty much pretty emotional.
Memento, all of them.
Yeah, I mean they're all pretty. Yeah, I mean it's
not lovey-dovey, but Memento's all about grief and how everyone's taking advantage of his grief and how he's just trying to move on with it.
Yeah,
he literally has a line of "I can't remember to forget you." That's the saddest fucking line I've ever heard in a movie. Like,
I'm a John G.
I'm a John
Lenny. I thought we could make some money. So what? I thought it would cure you. It didn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're a John G.
And then Carrie Ann Moss.
You can be my John G.
I'll show you.
My second favorite movie.
And then he finds it. Oh, Memento's awesome. Memento's great. But your first favorite movie is what?
Shawshank.
Yeah, I know Shawshank. I thought you were going to say this one. I was like, oh shit, that's right. I forgot Shawshank. No, but
I believe I had this as number 3. I'm curious.
Well, like I said, like with great movies, I can't put them in a separate. Like I don't
4.
like top 10 lists because so I mean, like I couldn't put this in a numerical fashion because if Shawshank is just as good, and so is Goodfellas, Casino. You know, those movies are just Godfather. There's a lot of great movies that are just as good in their own ways, but it's just some are just more interesting. I don't know. I feel like that's the difference if they're a little bit more interesting than the other, but they're all equally good. So it's like I can't say, yeah, this is the best movie ever made. It's like, no, it's not. It's equal on par with another movie that was made that was just as good. And nowadays, shit, we can't get nothing because Hollywood is dead. Bringing it back to the title of the show. Is that amazing? Because modern Hollywood movies are shit. Oh my god, I'm so sick of Hollywood movies. They're all Netflix movies, like The Gray Man and those awful 2.5-hour action movies that Zack Snyder directs for Netflix. Like that's the height of action movies now. It's like, ugh.
Oh,
the Russo brothers
have
to do Netflix movies.
We're talking about a movie made 54 years ago.
Yeah. Blows them all away. No one comes close. And this is 54 years ago. Well, it's like, it's like when you get older and people say like, oh, my day movies were better. Like, you know what? Maybe you're right because they suck now. The older I get, the worse they get. So you're probably right, old man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we yelled at you and lit your car on fire and put you into the hole and buried it. And it was a secret for years.
It's Once Upon a Time in the West. I believe it is the best. By the way, I have it as number 4 on my list because I forgot number 3 is Seconds. Right. But this is it's a fucking solid movie. But I think it is the best Western of all time. Even though it will never get the credits due because Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and people love Tombstone, which I find it's good, but I don't love Tombstone.
I like Tombstone. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
it's good.
I like it, but yeah, I think it's good. Yeah.
I always say like there's movies where I should love them, but I just kind of watch them. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. I like it. That's Tombstone for me. I don't get the love. All the actors in Tombstone are amazing. but just
Yeah.
as a whole, I don't care. But yeah, Unforgiven is
Well,
definitely in the top 3. I probably put these
Tombstone was
2.
directed by
Yeah.
no, because Tombstone, find out was directed by nobody because the first director was fired, the second director was shit, and then Kurt Russell directed most of it just out of proxy because he was there. So it was like this movie was self-directed, and even Michael Biehn said in an interview, he was on that Michael Rapport show, or not Rapport, I'm sorry, Michael Rosenbaum show.
Yeah.
Inside of You. He talked about Tombstone, and he goes, that movie was basically self-made. It just shows you that movies are self-contained, and if you have a good crew and a good script and you know where to go, it just shoots. It really kind of just shoots itself. Like it's all you just need someone to say, put the camera here, action, cut, let's move on, and there's not much else to it. And it's just like, wow, that kind of shines the light on Hollywood and how they make movies. I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's not a fucking mystery.
It shines a light on making a movie. It doesn't shine a light on the art aspect of it.
Right,
like
making a good
anybody
movie.
else, if they were to make Once Upon a Time in the West, the movie would be okay at best.
Right.
You need that visionary guy, and Sergio Leone is definitely a visionary. Like if anyone else did The Hateful Eight, it would have been terrible.
Right.
Like I'm just comparing it to that because I think of when I watch Hateful Eight, I think of this movie just nonstop the whole way through. Because the soundtrack and then all the shots and everything, but certain directors need to do that project because if anyone else does it, the movie will be just okay at best. I could see Tombstone being directed just kind of on the fly. Just all right, we'll do this scene and that. And
no,
like I said, it's a really good movie.
Not close up, medium. Yeah.
Unforgiven, I don't think would work if Clint Eastwood didn't direct it. If he was just an actor, I don't think he would have.
I did
such a good job on that movie.
And that was another one. Well, that's another movie that the script was 20 years. It took 20 years for that script to get made because Clint wanted to do it 20 years before. He was too young. I think he wanted to age out a little bit, and then he must have thought Unforgiven would be his last movie. Little did we know he kept fucking going for 40 years, 30 years.
He's still going.
I mean, Jesus. He's still going. Though I guess he's 93. He's talking about his last movie. He's gonna make his last movie coming soon.
At some point, he has to realize that and go, I probably eventually will start a movie that I don't finish, and I don't want that. I don't want some asshole finishing it.
It's the story of my life. My obsession with PUSSOI. I love it. I love it so much. It got me in so much trouble.
I love that they.
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was going to mention Henry Fonda, and the reason they wanted him as the bad guy is because everyone knows he's the good guy in movies all the time.
Right?
So
like, yeah.
This will work having him as the bad guy because he's so handsome. He walks in with his blue eyes.
It was blue eyes, and I guess he said originally in some interview, I don't know if it was Nick Cavett, or some other show in the 70s who was talking about this movie, and he goes, when I talked to Leone, I was saying like, well, they want me for this part, and I said, okay, well, it's the villain part, okay. So he goes, I went and I put a mustache on, and I put a goatee, I darkened my mustache, and I put brown contacts in my eyes, and I showed up, and I was like, had a cigar, top of a cigar, something like that, and Leone saw me, he goes, what are you doing, you fucking idiot? That's not what I want. I want your blue eyes. And he goes like, holy shit. He goes, I didn't understand that at the time. And I see the movie, and he goes, the reaction of the audience where they're seeing that whole family get massacred, and the last shot of that scene is the reveal of me, and the whole point is the audience goes, that son of a bitch is killing these kids. That son of a bitch is Henry Fonda. And he goes, that's the shock. That's me doing it. And I thought it was pretty funny. Like Henry Fonda had a good attitude about it, but he was trying to hide away from the blue. But he goes, no, that's what I want is your blue eyes, because that's what makes you, iconic, and that's what makes it even worse. That some guy with this beautiful eyes would be such a horrible monster. This, wonderfully nice-looking person. He's the worst killer you'll ever meet.
We need to watch whatever the hell movie this is. That was playing a trailer on top of IMDb. But look who shows up here.
Oh.
It's called The Great Smoky Roadblock. Watch who's in the passenger seat.
Oh,
Oh, Robert England.
Robert fucking
Bitch!
England.
I'm riding shotgun, bitch. It's my
Uh,
second movie, bitch.
yeah, I do think they
Well,
made
he-
the right
he-
call, leaving him super fucking handsome, because I think it really
Yeah.
creates some like, wait, what? And because I don't have the
Right.
relationship that the audience at the time did with Henry Fonda, where you're like,
Right,
you
exactly.
still root
Yeah.
for him. Now you're getting him as a bad
Right.
guy. It's not John.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on his fucking name from Face Off?
John Travolta.
John Travolta.
Yeah,
It's not John
Travolta.
Travolta in Face Off or Broken Arrow. Like that,
Right,
I'm used to. You're like, oh, he's a bad guy now. Okay,
Yeah.
but Henry
that's a
Fonda was
twist.
he was a fucking star back
Yeah.
then, and to see him as a churn
Right.
back in 1968, I can imagine that being shocking. And just he's so
Well,
handsome,
sure,
like,
like,
his
I mean,
eyes are glowing.
Well, he's like a World War II like movie hero. Like he's like,
Yeah. Grapes
he's
of
the
Wrath.
guy that stopped the Grapes of Wrath. I mean, he's the American hero of the downtrodden, and he's a homicidal maniac in this movie who just don't give
That's
a fuck,
It works
raping
so
women
fucking
and
well
shooting
for the
kids.
movie.
Yeah.
His introductory scene is close up of his face, looking at the kid,
Yep.
and his partner goes, "What do you want to do with the kid, Frank?" And he's like, "Well, now that you said my name," and he pulls out his gun and shoots the kid in the face, or shoots it in the chest.
That's
or whatever he
wonderful.
shot him.
And it's the cut to the train whistle of the train arriving.
Claudia gets off.
Just wonderful. And
Yeah.
Claudia, beautiful Claudia Cardinale. But my favorite, watching Claudia Cardinale on the special features on the DVD where she's smoking and she's got that that 85-year-old body of a smoker. Sergio Leone was a wonderful person to work for. I loved Leo. I love Sergio. I loved working with Charlie. Charlie Bronson. Like, she doesn't even, but like what's funny is she outlived them all.
All
She's
of them.
smoking 7 packs of these black cigarettes, which has got to be pure tobacco, with probably some kind of high-end drug in there, some heroin in there for good measure, some nice opium.
I'm looking up when
it was
everyone
a last
died.
game.
Claudia
Yeah.
was born in 38, still alive. Jason
Alive.
Robards, born in 22, died in 2000,
99.
78.
Died
Uh,
after Magnolia. last
Henry
movie.
Fonda, born 1905, died 82 at age 77. Charles
Yep.
Bronson had the longest run out of the three of them. He born in 21, died in 2003 at age 81.
Yep.
Claudia Cardinale still going,
Still kicking. She's got
Still
it going
acting.
on.
still acting.
Still right now. Yeah, there you go.
She's
I
on
love
the
to
Island of
still work.
Forgiveness
I work.
this year.
I was in this movie called Island of Forgiveness. I played the grandmother matriarch.
Oh shit!
I love-
She's in a movie called Twice Upon a Time in the West.
Oh,
What is
no, it must be
this?
a bad movie. Gotta be a spoof or something stupid. Some stupid foreign comedy that's awful.
I wish I was joking, but here it is.
Oh, no, it
Island
is.
37.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Ew, it looks so bad and cheap.
It's got a 5.7.
Oh, what a.
Looks like it's
oh,
written
who-
in
who-
Russian.
There
I
you
want to
go.
see what genre it is.
It's gotta be like a Western sci-fi, stupid combination of genre movie. It's a
Bulgaria.
hybrid.
Oh my
There you go.
goodness.
Fucking Russians. No wonder the Ukraine's at war. They made movies like this shit.
Here.
Oh no. No. Oh. We can't afford extras in this movie.
Is this supposed to be Frank?
It's Henry Fonda's Stand-In from 1978.
That's
Who?
Claudia. Oh, there she is. It's Claudia Cardinale.
Hello.
Written in Bulgarian. Oh, Dick, this looks terrible. Why is it in modern times?
I think it's them making a Western movie, and she's like a Western star, It's like her last movie, maybe. And there's a murder kidnap plot. Oh no, this looks terrible. I like a David Lynch movies. I want to do a David Lynch movie. I'm sorry, they're Bulgarian. I want to do a David Lynch movie. Twice upon a time in the West.
We need to watch that.
No. I don't think you can find this movie. There's no way that's in the States. It didn't escape the Ukraine, the war. They've consumed it.
That doesn't mean I can't find it.
It's gone. I'm sorry. You can't find
Sergio
it.
died in 89 at age 60.
Oh,
he was the youngest of all them all.
Yeah, that's well, he was in the worst shape of them all too. I mean, you look at the guy who was fucking, probably 5'8" and 450 pounds.
I think he
big. He was like
didn't want to direct anymore at some point. Just kind of wanted to produce.
Well, he got burnt out. Once Upon a Time in America really fucked him up, and I think that was the movie that killed him. And I guess that one of the trivia bits on Ben-Hur was because Ben-Hur was shot in Cinecittà. The one of the urban legends was Leone directed the chariot race, and even Leone would say like, "Yes, I directed pieces of that chariot race." And I guess everybody who worked on it said no, he didn't. He wasn't even there. Like he tries to take he likes to build his own myth basically. But why not? That's fun. I think Leone was a larger than life kind of character, so he'd probably be like, "Yeah, no, I did that. Fuck you. Yeah, I did that." Charlton Heston, love him. He's great. I directed him in that, even though he couldn't speak a lick of English. That's the other thing. Leone
shot sound. They didn't know what to do.
He didn't speak English, and he could communicate to the actors, "This is what I want, and this is what you're going to do," because he would act it out with them. But I mean, he does everything a director shouldn't do, because like you don't want to tell an actor how to act. Like actors hate that. But then again, I mean, if you're working with a guy that knows what he's like, Leone has the movie in his head.
Yeah,
you do what he says because he knows what he's doing. I mean, shit, you don't fuck with that.
Plus, you're on set and nobody else is speaking your language, and all the actors are speaking their own language, so you can't communicate with anyone. So you're like, "Yeah, I'll do that." That's why Clint Eastwood's like, "Yeah, okay.
I'm here." Yeah, he was fine with it. Yeah, and it was the smartest thing Clint Eastwood ever did, was to go to Italy and make those Dollars trilogy movies.
Damn right.
I mean, that was the smartest thing. Everyone said don't do it.
He invited him back for this one for a different role, and he's like, "No, I'm good. Like, what else am I going to do? I think I already said it."
Yeah, I mean, Good and Bad and the Ugly is a good way to go out. That's a masterpiece in its own right too. That's another great movie that I love.
My only downfall,
beginning to end.
The only reason this is above Good and Bad and the Ugly is Good and Bad and the Ugly has a lot of scenes that just go on, and you're like, okay, come on. It's a little too much. It kind of drags his feet in some scenes, if you ask me.
It takes Clint Eastwood 25 minutes to roll down a hill in the desert. That sort of thing.
The scenes where they're setting up like the Gatling gun and everything on the bridge, and it's like, and they're setting up the bomb. Yeah. I'm like, this is a really long scene.
That one scene with the guy talking in the saloon going, "Look at this. The Northerners are coming in, taking out the Southerners. Look at the general. He looks like he's dead." Like just that whole bit where the guy's talking. It's like, has nothing to do with it. It's setting up the background and the world building, but it doesn't really add to the story that much. It's just a guy talking. And then Eli Wallach comes behind him and says, "Where's the owner of that horse?" And he basically says, "Oh," it takes him, that action scene happens.
Oh, you know what's
fucked up? I can understand that. I still, what?
Fistful of Dynamite. Okay, I put it on. I'm watching it. I'm like, this is pretty good. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it, and I thought it was great. It doesn't come near the other movies though. But I was watching it, and I was like, "Where's Rod Steiger? I know he's in this." And then I realized, oh, he's the Mexican dude. Like he actually sold me.
Yeah,
I bought it.
Yeah,
because I was thinking Rod Steiger's, Cuban in The Specialist.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like,
that's hilarious.
He actually fooled me. I was like, oh fuck, that's Rod Steiger. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. I was like, I thought that was just a Mexican
great,
actor.
yeah.
Like, God damn, good job, man.
I like Once Upon a Time Revolution or Duck Sucker or Fistful of Dynamite, whatever it's called. It's got like 5 different titles.
Yeah,
I like
Fistful of
that
Dynamite.
one too, but
He's the best title.
I think that one was interesting because he plays with the idea of revolution. Like revolutionaries shouldn't be respected. Like it's not they don't do anything. They're just as bad as the other guys. I felt like it was a nice equal. It just shows you that it doesn't get you anywhere. You're gonna die like because innocent people die no matter what. Because like they show the scene where like everybody gets killed in the caves, and
It's like
children get
12 minutes
executed,
long.
and it's because
And I
the guy
love-
betrayed him. Like the
Yeah, the-
leader of the resistance betrayed him
the-
because he didn't want to
the-
die. He was a coward.
Well, he's a
Yeah,
professor.
the
That
the
guy.
professor, the one that starts it, and this one starts all this shit. He's a coward, and then at
Yeah.
the end, like he sells them all out and kills them all just for his own skin. And it's like
He kills
that's what
himself in a
they
drink.
end up doing. Yeah, well, because they force him to basically.
Yeah.
but yeah, no,
Well,
it's,
no,
it's,
he's
it's a good story.
like
I like
Chump.
what he was doing
Just
with it.
chump. He essentially
Yeah.
forces himself because when what's his name? Don't even get me started on him and his accent, his Irish accent.
Irish
goes
accent.
away. It goes away so
Did
many
you
times.
get James Coburn? Who I
He's-
love.
he
I
is-
love in that movie, but yeah, his
I love him,
Irish
but he is an
accent's terrible.
ugly, ugly man.
Well, did you get the whole threesome thing at the end of that movie?
Which part?
The whole the polymorph, the polymorph, the poly relation between the 3 characters in Ireland during the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
basically the illusion is they're all 3 lovers, they're all 3 fucking, and they share each other, and then they end up they all get killed in the Ireland, and that's why he's in Spain or wherever it is he's at.
Mexico.
Because he's escaping the revolution. Mexico. He's escaping the Irish Revolution for another revolution.
He go,
Which I
yeah.
thought was interesting.
There is okay. Speaking of Leone scenes that go on and on and on, my wife was sitting there watching this with me, and it cuts back to his flashback, and they're running in the field, and it's the last one they show.
Right,
Before
yeah.
he dies.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Yeah.
And he kisses the girl.
Right, yeah.
And his friend is just
Yeah.
like
Right there next to him. Yeah.
right
yeah.
behind her head.
I'm
He's
gonna
just like,
I want to eat your asshole when you go down on her, Jimmy.
and then she's like, okay.
All
fine."
right, laddie.
Not just making out with him.
Come on, laddie.
then-
Come down and suck my balls as I ride
And
her.
then that's where Coburn dies.
Yeah, blows up. What was his name though? Rod Steiger calls him something. It's like a nickname. What was it?
I'm trying to remember.
Because
his
Rod
nickname.
Steiger shouts it when he blows up. Like it's his name. I don't know if it's his name. I just remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. I gotta look that up.
I liked
don't
it.
know.
I used to
can't
own
remember.
it, and I got rid of it. You know how the DVDs for these movies all came in that white box?
yeah.
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 I had all of those, and I got rid of them. I never watched it before I got rid of it, and finally watched it. Really enjoyed it. It's hard to rate. I give it a 7.
What, the Ducky Sucker?
Yeah.
A 7? Yeah, you're probably right. I'd give it an 8 just because there's a lot of stuff that I do like about it. 8 is fair, but yeah, I can understand the 7.
Yeah, I just need to rewatch it.
I think I'd like it more. No.
It's gonna be a
But
movie
definitely,
that
I mean, good.
I check up on every once in a while. It's just this is
Yeah.
my first sit through, and
I-
but that scene, that 12-minute
Yeah.
scene of Coburn and Rod Steiger sitting there, you don't know what they're sitting next to. They're just like in a cave, and they're sitting there, and they're clearly just like staring at nothing, and they're like,
Right.
"Why the fuck are we here? What is this for?" And he's
Right.
talking about his kids.
Right.
His 6. He goes, "I finally counted them. There's six of them." He's
Right,
just
they're
staring.
dead.
They're like, what is this
All
all
his kids
about?
are dead, yeah.
But then
Oh,
it finally, after as he gets up and leaves, you see just James Coburn sitting there, and you see what he keeps looking off screen, and it finally cuts to them, and it's all of the people we saw before dead, and these 2 guys should have
Right,
been
yeah,
there
yeah.
with him dying, but they stayed
right,
behind,
yeah.
fight off the,
Yeah, that's great. It's
the
great,
general.
Yeah.
and it just cuts on, it
Yeah.
keeps cutting to that young boy that he has, and just he's just dead. and that
Yeah.
scene is so fucking effective. And I was like, this is a good example of a scene that's going on way too long, but there's a purpose. Because you're not supposed to know why they're
Right,
so
yeah.
downtrodden for this long, and then suddenly it hits you. You're like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
they're all dead, all of them."
Right. Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
67
But
people.
it's Leone's fucking the best. One of the
Yes, and that's
best of
like,
all time.
just
Leone,
do what he
hands
says.
down.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
I really want
You
like
want me
a
to do
big
what to my
old-
balls?
I want
Yeah,
a
like a nice
old
big
Super
Arrow
Leo
video
pop-
release or
Yeah, or something with
yeah, I'm
this.
kind of surprised they haven't done that. Yeah. Like with more special features and just like retrospectives and all that shit. Like
I want
that's
like
a movie that deserves it.
originally I wanted like a Criterion collection, so they fixed the fucking audio.
Right. Yeah.
But this one,
Yeah.
they did a really good job on it.
That
and,
does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get it.
Because you know exactly what I'm talking about with some of the sound effects in the DVD. You're like, like that when it cuts to the train whistle after he shoots the sun, and it's like, oh god,
Yeah,
or some
right.
of the
Yeah, it's
harmonica
jarring,
notes. You're like, It's
Right.
just,
yeah.
they fixed it. They fixed all that. They smoothed it out. They spread it out in the speakers. It's not
Yes.
as jarring. But it is a really good transfer. And I want a 4K now. Hopefully they keep the sound the same. Don't mess with the sound anymore. The sound's fine.
I'm sure they
had the Blu-ray,
the sound
move it
is
over.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah. What else can you say about a movie like this? It's perfect. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Visually,
It's just the performances are amazing.
Yeah.
It's the music, the way the camera move, the angle. I mean, just everything about the movie is just unbelievable. It's just,
People always say
it's just you can't.
Sergio's music is like, how do you say that word? Why I always stumble on this word. Where
Anatomically correct.
No, oh my god, why do I always blank on this? I can never say this word. So
Amalgamous.
Anachronism. And how do you say that for the present term? But the music doesn't really belong with the movie, and that's actually what makes it work. You hear that a lot about his music, Ennio Morricone's music.
Oh, antithetical.
No,
antithetical.
No,
anthem. Antithetical.
Antebellum.
Antebellum. That's right. Pre-Civil War. Yes.
Anachronistic. And
Anna Karenina.
And then Anna Karenina shat in his chest. No, but the music, the shots is what drew me in when you first put this DVD on back in film school.
Oh yeah,
and this is a beautiful movie. Like just the camera sitting there. Any other movie has the moving camera, and this is just a locked camera. It'll sometimes go left to right, kind of pan around, but that's it. The camera doesn't go up and down. It's not handheld. You rarely get that, only when they're running around outside. And it's just a beautiful looking movie. The pacing is perfect. Just everything's amazing about it. Like I said, perfect movie. And that's why I chose it for this episode.
Oh yes,
I do want to give. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's definitely a good reason to point out that Hollywood is dead, because they will never make a movie like this ever again. And it's like you have to go back 54 years to see something worthwhile.
Yeah, this movie came out before we're born by a lot, and still we found it and fucking love it. Like that's incredible. That's a really good sign. And it's not like a genre we're both like experts in either, so that really says something about it. It's not like a sci-fi movie.
Exactly.
I watch a lot of sci-fi. It's not something like that. It's a Western. I don't particularly care about Westerns. So
exactly.
It won us both over a lot.
Oh yeah.
I do want to give the calendar shout outs because this is the last time I have it on here. Is April 11th, 1974 is Adam's birthday. And then
I thought we already said that.
We did. I put it on each show.
Okay.
I forgot to mention it in Twilight Zone, but April 14th, 2020, LAW Anthology Series Review debuted.
Wow.
3 years ago.
Wow.
Time flies.
So next week on the show, we're doing the big movie quiz. The big movie quiz. That'll be our first time doing that. You got the cards, right? Got it.
Good.
We're gonna do that.
Haven't left my desk.
And then after the week after that, we're doing the Coen Brothers movies. We're gonna rank those. So, and then after that, you can do 2 weeks in a row picking the movies if you want, because we're kind of skipping your week next with the big movie quiz.
Well, are we still going to be on a schedule, or are we kind of on a floating schedule right now? Because the child might be coming soon.
There shall be a third West baby coming. And
Guado's coming. All right. Now, what was his name in Del Regal?
Was it Iguado?
Quato?
Quato. Quato's a mutant. That's right. Quato's coming. Quado? Yeah. Are you Quado? No. Quato's coming. Quato's a mutant.
So your Quato's coming. Quado West is coming. And your wife is going to be... Because that stomach's big enough to pull that off.
Dude, she's like huge. She's like 3 years pregnant now. She looks like she's. I can't believe
she's. God, because I was just there 3 weeks ago, and she was about ready to pop.
Yeah. Now it's like
4 weeks. No.
I will not be surprised if any day.
By the way, somebody put Toy Anxiety on YouTube. They took a tour in Toy Anxiety, the Phoenix, Arizona store.
You got to see it finally.
To see the inside. Yeah, that place is fucking massive. That place would take forever to look through.
The place is legit.
But it looked cool. I was like, I'll go there next time. Yeah, go there next time.
Such a fucking bummer. I can't believe that.
Yeah, well, now we know it's still closed Monday, Tuesday. So you have to go there like on a Friday or something.
Yeah, man, that's stupid. Whatever.
We'll fix that next time.
I don't know. We'll come up with rules for this big movie quiz. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Or maybe we would just fuck around. Who knows? I don't care.
Just ask the questions and you get the answers, and that's that.
Yeah, and we're not too competitive. This isn't Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction.
No.
We're talking.
No, it's not. God damn it.
That's a serious fucking game.
That's Jonathan Frakes. That's fucking.
You don't fuck with him.
I want him to be proud of me. You don't fuck with JF and JB.
John Frankenheimer?
John Frankenheimer Frakes.
I need a John Fraksenheimer. Just combine the two.
Oh my God. He directs wonderful episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Glory, they're beautiful looking.
They're wonderfully done.
All right, let's get out of here.
Yes.
Until next time. And in the meantime, I'm Phoenix West.
Tick tick cat.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It started playing on its own there.
Oh no, it's fine. I said tick tick cat.
The podcast has concluded. The video show